in my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
And then there were 8. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we get set for race number 1 of round number 2 of the playoffs of the NCRA Pizza Hut X Series. This is chase race number 4, and this is overall race number 24 of the season as we get ready to continue on our race weekend from the Madrid Super Speedway. We have just come off the heels a few weeks ago from Kentucky Speedway, where we whittled our playoff grid down from 12 to 8 remaining drivers. And those drivers would include the following: Jordan Lopez, Matt McIntire, Joshua Osborne, Scott Roush, Ying Canario, Cody Llamas, Aubrey Eselstein, and Dougie Shears, who not only have taken one step closer to trying to get themselves into the Final Four to compete for the championship at Auto Club, but also have gotten themselves one step closer to possibly picking up a Hershey's Cup Series charter for next season, because keep in mind, the top 5 finishers this year in Pizza Hut X Series competition have a guaranteed chartered ride in next year's Hershey's Cup Series grid. So that's definitely 2 big things for the 8 remaining drivers. Unfortunately, though, we saw the departure of 4 drivers at Kentucky from the playoffs, including the likes of Mark Davidson, who's had an unbelievable rookie season, also Carson Gum, his teammate Seth Cole, and Chris Dollerton. So those drivers now, they're just basically trying to finish out the season as best they can. However, we do know that Chris Dollerton, regardless of the fact that he's not going to be able to get a Hershey's Cup Series charter for next season via top 5 in points, he will be moving up to the Hershey's Cup Series next year in an entry for CJ Racing. So that's one driver that's got at least a little bit of a glimmer of hope on the horizon for him heading into next season. But let's focus on today's race here from Madrid, because everybody wants to win the Super Speedway, because everybody pretty much has a chance. Everyone's on a level playing field. We got 2 drivers starting in the front row that certainly would love to find victory lane. William Broccoli for his first Pizza Hut X Series victory, and Christian Merrick Jr.
Drivers, start your engines!
As I'm going to get interrupted there by the command. He is looking for his first win, if I recall correctly, since Season 2 at Talladega Super Speedway, which was a Super Speedway race. Actually, no, hold on. I think I'm wrong. I think Christian Merrick Jr. might have won last year's season finale at Auto Club. So let me just double check that. Regardless, though, both of them are looking for their first win of this season. Same can be said for, basically, if you look back all the way through the top 6, Phil Parker, Zach Flickinger, Daniel Olson, and Jake Rogers. Well, no, actually, Jake Rogers won at M&M, so the top 5 looking for their first win of the season. Let me just double check. I'm pretty sure Christian Merrick Jr. won last year's season finale. Yes, he did. Well, let's give you your playoff points coming to this race, even though it's not going to be that difficult. Nobody ended up winning a race as a playoff contender back in round 1, so they all come into this race with the reformatted points tied for the points lead. It's an 8-way tie. Jordan Lopez, Matt McIntire, Joshua Osborne, Scott Roush, Ying Canario, Cody Llamas, Aubrey Eselstein, and Dougie Shears, as I mentioned. And bear in mind, if any of those 8 drivers go to victory lane here today, they don't have to worry heading into the next races at Talladega and Homestead, Miami, about making it into the Final Four. It's an automatic locked-in ticket to Auto Club to compete for the championship. It'll be the same in 2 weeks at Dega and, of course, the following week at Homestead. Now, I said in yesterday's Tax Layer Truck Series race, where we ran a 19-lap event, and We only had a couple of drivers that had to pit in the closing stages. Just about everybody was able to make it 19 laps on fuel. I said probably today we would have a fuel strategy race. However, this is the GNS physics, and I saw that the fuel window for these drivers is somewhere between 28 to 30 laps. And as you see, as we bring the ticker up, we've got 24 laps in today's event. So these drivers very likely will be able to make it on fuel for the entirety of this race. So expect a potential long green flag run. We ran green flag in the 19-lap event here yesterday in the Taxslayer Truck Series race. The race winner, Sky Commons, laying down an average speed of the race at 211 miles per hour. So let's see what happens here today, as William Brock and Christian Merrick Jr. will lead us down. Green flags in the air. We're underway at Madrid. Let's roll. Sounds like they're crawling through turn one as they try and get their cars up to speed. It'll take them probably, I would say, at least a full lap, if not down here to the entrance of turn 3, to get up to at least somewhat full song. I don't do this very often, but let's take a look and see what the speed right now is of the race leader, William Brock. He's only up to 185 miles per hour, and they're going to be up to around 210 miles per hour when they're up to full speed. As we got a battle for the lead, Christian Merrick Jr. was able to get from the top of the front row down to the bottom of the track, and he's looking for the top position off of William Brock. But does he have any drafting help? Now he's getting a little bit now in the form of Alex Gray, but who will lead the first lap? Inside, outside? Looks like inside by a splitter. Christian Merrick Jr., at least to my eyes, led that lap, and the ticker agrees. Car way up the track right there. That's a Jake Rogers up there and in the wall, and we saw that quite a bit in yesterday's Truck Series race, where these drivers, when that right front tire begins to heat up, drivers have a lot of difficulty keeping their car down on the bottom or even in the middle and high groove without it slipping up and scraping the outside wall. And that really breaks the field up. Well, Christian Merrick Jr. enjoyed one lap out in front. Now the battle is on for that top spot again, as I heard a few cars hit the wall that time. I think William Brock may have been one of them. Alex Gray now out in front. That's a battle behind him between Justin Tucker and Angel Navarro. That's second place. Seen a lot of red banners near the rear of the field. A few of our playoff contenders started at the back, and right now they're running there. Highest running red banner right now would be M McIntire, second in the points coming into this race, even though everybody's tied for the points lead. We've seen that Liberty University Chevrolet, and now he's under fire from Carson Gum, who was just recently eliminated from the playoffs last time out at Indianapolis. Or, I'm sorry, not Indianapolis, Kentucky rather. Now Angel Navarro to the inside. Got teammates working together there. Gardner Motorsports Chevy Camaros, the 97 of Navarro, the 96 of Flickinger. And looks like Angel Navarro will lead this lap, as here comes a bunch of cars now running up into the top 3. G Sydnor leading James Shelly and Kyle Langeland on the inside line, along with Charles Jackson, who went to victory lane last time out at Kentucky, his second Pizza X Series win of the season. And now we might have a little bit of teammates working together here. Navarro led a lap, and now he says, all right, there you go, Flickinger, you take the top spot and get yourself a bonus point. Both these drivers returning to Gardner Motorsports next season. Flickinger confirmed in the 96. Angel Navarro will be moving to a new number in the number 44 next year. Flickinger dives down, throws the block on James Shelly, and he will get a bonus point for leading the lap. But Shelly's getting quite a shove there from Kyle Langeland. I don't know if Flickinger's going to be able to block him, and no, he can't. Shelly had too much of a run going into turn 1. James Shelly, at this point in time, the lone driver out, or no, he's one of 2 drivers rather, out of Backmarker Motorsports that's yet to go to victory lane this season. Oh, no, he's not. He won earlier on this year. What am I thinking? I'm trying to remember where his win was at, though. Got a car that hit the wall that time. That might have been the 0 of Alex Gray, as I'm quickly looking to see where Shelly ended up winning. it Iowa? No, that was Carson Gum. Rockingham? Yeah, it was Rockingham. Here comes Dougie Shears. And Shears really impressed me last time out at Kentucky. He came into the race in the critical 8th position in points and was able to have at least a decent showing at Kentucky to keep himself in the Elite 8 here in this next round of the playoffs. Dougie Shears, a former NNSCRA champion back in the now defunct Snickers Cup Series. He finished out the evening at Kentucky in the 16th position, which was enough to move him on to the next round. He just basically kept himself around the top 15 most of that evening, and that was enough for him to get into the next round of the playoffs. Here comes Charles Jackson. He's got a rear decklet full of Chelsea Bowls. Jackson's won twice this year. The most recent win, of course, we mentioned last time out at Kentucky. Chelsea Bowls winning earlier on this year at Hillside about 6-7 weeks ago. And I believe we got a playoff driver working his way to the front. That's the 70 of Joshua Osborne. He's fourth on that inside line back there behind Quentin Moore and Steve Morgan. As James Shelly, I think, might have just brushed the wall off the corner. Dougie Shears led that last lap, and he's still out in front. Looking good for maybe Dougie Shears to move his way into victory lane. Maybe lock himself up a spot in the Final Four to compete for the championship. I mean, last year, Dougie Shears drove for Michael Norman Motorsports. Finished out the year 12th of 12 drivers. Made his way into the playoffs with a win earlier on that year at Rio de Janeiro, which I believe was the second race of that season. But once he got to the playoffs, everything fell apart. He's had a much better playoffs this year. And it'd be kind of interesting, too, because we know that right now Dougie Shears is lined up to return to the 7 next season with Red Bull as the primary sponsor. But if Dougie Shears is able to race his way into the Final Four, he would have a guaranteed charter for next season. It'd be interesting to see what happens with those plans. We may end up seeing a new driver in the 7 here in the Pizza Next Series if Shears makes the jump back up to Hershey's Cup. Last time we saw Dougie Shears in the Hershey's Cup Series, if I recall correctly, he was in a number 21 Red Bull Chevrolet from Michael Norman Motorsports. I think that was the case, and I think it was a non-chartered ride at the time. You better look at his rearview mirror, though, because here comes Joshua Osborne in that 70. Got 2 playoff contenders up here at the front, and I'm seeing a few more starting to make their way to the front of that inside line. A couple of Ford Mustangs were working together. Ying Canario in the 6 and Jordan Lopez in the 34. Now, as these playoff drivers are having good runs, let's see if there's any playoff drivers that are struggling as we're getting close to the midway point of this race. Christian Merrick Jr. started outside the front row. He's at the tail end of the field, but looks like everybody is still in the draft. Furthest back playoff contender, it looks like, is the 48 of Cody Llamas. There he is. After finishing 15th last week in Kentucky, had a top 5 run at Indianapolis, but he's still in the draft. That's at least the good thing. So Cody's still got a shot to work his way to the front. Next lowest driver, I should say, is Aubrey Eselstein there, up on the high side in that 3 car. But the good news still in the draft, still in the pack. There's Scott Roush, battling side by side right there with Matt McIntire. That's 4th position. Move further up. Here's the 2 cars I saw working together. 6 and the 34, Canario and Lopez. They're now working their way by Joshua Osborne. And of course, Dougie Shears, the 8th playoff driver, out in front leading this race right now over the current rookie points leader, Steve Morgan. It was looking like it was going to be a pretty good points battle, for the rookie points battle between Steve Morgan and Alex Gray, but the last couple of weeks, Steve Morgan's really stepped up his finishes and gapped himself by 11 points over the 0. So right now, Steve Morgan running away with Rookie of the Year honors. Still a little ways to go, though. Still got to finish out today's race at Madrid. We've still got Talladega on the horizon, Homestead, and of course, Auto Club. anything can still happen. Dougie Shears right now, though, just hoping and praying, I think, that nobody's going to be able to get to his inside, because right now, this is the best case scenario for him. The bad news is we're only halfway through this race. There's still plenty of time for drivers to get up to his bumper, make a move on him. It's not like we're coming to 2 laps to go. There's still 50% of this race left, and we're starting to see now that as we start getting into the latter half of this race, now more playoff drivers are starting to make their way to the front. Lopes and Canario have been very methodical on that inside line, both working their way now up into the top 5. Last time by, Lopes was 3rd, Canario was 5th, and now Canario just got moved out of line into the middle groove. He's now starting to fall back as it's a Dr. Pepper continue to the inside. The Ford Mustang of Eli Bright, the Chevy Camaro of G Sydnor. Quentin Moore now is the driver on the back bumper of Dougie Shears. Quentin Moore, who had such a consistent season during the regular season, was actually first in the standings when the checkered flag waved at M&M's, but he didn't have a win, so he didn't make it into the playoffs. Trying to get that win here before the season comes to a close. Then you got Lopes, and then you got Eli Bright, who went to victory lane to start off the playoffs at Chicagoland. Trying to look for his second win of the season. It's kind of ironic if you think about Eli Bright. If he does find victory lane for a second time before the season's over, you go back to last year. He didn't make the playoffs for the Tax Layer Truck Series season, but he won the last 2 races. Well, he didn't make the playoffs this year for Pizza Next Series. What if he ends up getting 2 wins during the playoffs here? Top 4 have a little bit of a gap, but not much. Back to G Sydnor in 6th, Ben Braley 7th, Alex Gray in 8th, and then 9th place right now would be Joshua Osborne. So right now, that group is currently gapped to the 9th place car of Joshua Hyatt and Yin Canario. They're in 9th and 10th. If they remain single file, they may be able to pull away, and as soon as I say that, the back portion of that group now starting to make some moves. Bright, Sydnor, Braley, all stepping out of line. And now they're 3 wide for 3rd as Jordan Lopes got the short end of the stick on that one. He got kicked way up to the outside line. That's going to bring all those other drivers back up to him. See Braley up here. We mentioned Eli Bright, and now their teammate Nathan Hudson, 2-time winner, is starting to catch up as well, bringing the 20 of Ashlyn Boyd and the 27 of James Qualls along with him. They're trying to crack into the top 10. 8 laps to go when they hit the line next time by, and right now the playoff contenders that are looking good, obviously Shears out in front, Osborne and Lopes, they're all up inside the top 10. Yin Canario as well, just on the tail end of the top 10. What about the other 4 though? Let's drop back and find them. This looks like Mason Wood and C Merrick Jr. have both lost the draft. Aubrey Edelstein right now is the furthest running back of the playoff contenders. Not too far ahead is Cody Llamas. There's Scott Roush. We haven't really heard much out of him today. And then just up ahead of him, there you see the 9 car of M McIntire picked up on the high side. There's still time for these drivers to make some strides up here towards the front, but they can't wait too long. Dougie Shears just trying to be a Dale Jr. here, just trying to lead this pack around. He does not want to lose the race lead, because if he wins this race, it's an automatic ticket into the Final 4. But you look at the tail end of this top 5, there's Joshua Osborne. He knows that just as much. He wants to win. Right behind him, you got Jordan Lopes, and you got Yin Canario back there trying to lead a second group up to this top 5. So it ain't over till it's over. But how long does Quentin Moore want to ride behind the 7? I mean, like we said, he finished out the regular season with points leader but didn't make the playoffs. That guy wants to find victory lane. And this might be the best position he could be in to do that. So how long does he wait to make a move on the 7? And we know that G Sydnor's been making some very aggressive moves here in the last few laps or so. So how anxious would he be, as now he's going to get passed for third by Alex Gray. Gray makes the move, and Osborne and Lopes, so thank you very much, will take those extra spots as well. Joshua Hyatt in the 92 also there. And now looks like Osborne's going to keep his car on the inside line as he'll look for third place on the 0 of Gray. Gray's going to slot back down in front. So Sydnor's going to fall back at least to 7th, maybe to 8th, as he tries to slot in front of Eli Bright and is successful in doing so. So he'll drop back to the 7th position. Right there in 8th. Canario with Ashlyn Boyd, they're trying to catch back up there as they're in 9th and 10th. Who steps out of line here? That 0 was the one that made the move last time by in this area of the track, and now Quentin Moore says it's time to go. And Osborne's going to go with him along with Lopes. So Dougie Shears and Alex Gray caught flat-footed, and Quentin Moore says it's time to go to the lead. So now the question, was that too early? As they're 3 wide between playoff contenders for second. Lopes down low, Osborne in the middle, Shears way up topside. And as they race up here, that's good news for Yin Canario and Ashlyn Boyd, Carson Gum, James Qualls, who are all trying to catch back up. Way up the racetrack goes Dougie Shears. He is drifting way back. And now Quentin Moore going to have to try and hold him off as he looks for what would actually be his first career Pizza Hut X Series victory. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe his first career NSCRA victory overall. Got Joshua Hyatt right behind him, though. Joshua Hyatt, former winner in the Taxslayer Truck Series back at Dover. Made it in the playoffs last season in the Truck Series as well. Now over here in his rookie season with William Brock Motorsports, trying to find victory lane, but Quentin Moore's going to try and hold him off as they're 3 wide for third, and they're 3 wide, about 3 rows deep back there. As the race winds down, the aggressiveness kicks up another level. James Qualls leading a big group down there. As look who's now moved up to 3rd and 4th. Ashlyn Boyd and Carson Gum, and here comes Joshua Hyatt for the top position. Right now, the top 5 non-playoff drivers. Hyatt to the point. Ashlyn Boyd going to go to 2nd. Big shove from Carson Gum. Boyd may have a run here going into turn 1 to maybe try and take the top position from Hyatt. Wow, look at Qualls. He did slot in front of Angel Navarro, but he very nearly went off the nose of that 97 as Ashlyn Boyd goes to the lead with 3 laps to go. James Qualls got his teammate Joshua Hyatt there with him. Can the Joanna Atwood Motorsports Chevrolets do anything? And which would they rather do? Would Qualls rather push Osborne to the win so Osborne gets into the final 4? Or would Osborne rather push Qualls to the win to get him to victory lane for the first time since season 2? They're going to have to get by Ashlyn Boyd and Carson Gum, though, as Boyd out in front. Ashlyn Boyd, a former winner from last season, was in the playoffs last year as well, finished out the year 8th overall in the standings, but has not found victory lane yet this season. Carson Gum, of course, winning at Iowa earlier this season. First career win, and now he's looking for his 2nd as he dives to the inside for the top spot. 4 wide back there for 4th place. Flickinger, Braley, Osborne, up into the wall. That was Hyatt. And he nearly got run over by, I think that was Quentin Moore and Dougie Shears. Here comes Qualls to the inside. Can he get to the inside of Carson Gum going into 3? I don't think he's got enough help. Nope, not enough help that time. He's got Flickinger right behind him now, but it's a little too late. Qualls had the run down the back straightaway, but no one was able to go with him, and now Flickinger makes the move to the inside for 2nd place. Qualls throws the block, though. He'll hold 2nd. Carson Gum out in front sees the white flag, 1 lap to go. Who's going to make the move? It'll have to probably be on the back straightaway. Gum, Qualls, Flickinger, Braley, Rogers, all non-playoff drivers, top 5 as they come down the back straightaway. Who steps out? They got to do it here. Here comes Qualls. Who goes with him? Nobody's going yet. Shears is down there, but is that enough for Qualls to get the inside of Carson Gum? Qualls is trying. He's only got Shears helping him, though. He's edged ahead just a little bit. Now here comes Jake Rogers to the bottom. It may be a drag race between Carson Gum and James Qualls for this win. Shears looking down there, 3 wide. They're going to drag race to the stripe. Gum gets the outside line going, and Carson Gum, I believe, just won the race in a 3-wide battle to the line. Ticker says it's official. Carson Gum, win number 2 on the season here at Madrid. 6 100ths separated the top 3 in that 3-wide battle coming to the line. Gum up top, Shears on the bottom, Qualls in the middle, and it was Carson Gum with his 2nd win on the year, taking the checkered flag here today at Madrid by 2 100ths. He denied Dougie Shears an automatic ticket into the Final 4. What a battle there at the end. Makes me glad we didn't have green flag pit stops to mess all that up. That was amazing. And Carson Gum's going to take a celebratory victory lap just 1 week after he was eliminated from the playoffs. If he had still been in the playoffs, Carson Gum would be competing for the championship at Auto Club. This win coming too little too late in terms of his championship hopes. Still, it's his 2nd win of the season and 2nd win of his Pizza Hut X Series career as well. His first was picked up earlier on this year at Iowa. And there you see it, 18 1,000ths between himself and Dougie Shears, 58 1,000ths between himself and James Qualls. And while Carson Gum's doing his victory lap, we are going to just rewind it back so you can take a visual look of just how close that was at the line in a 3-wide battle. There it was. Let's see if we can get a good camera angle. There we go. TV2 will give us a very good visual of this. As we bring it down frame by frame, you see Qualls just had no help. Couldn't get any momentum, and Shears was closing the gap. Couple more feet, and he might have had Carson Gum, and there you had it at the line. Look at that. That's how close it was between Dougie Shears and an automatic ticket to battle for the championship at Auto Club Speedway. But Shears in 2nd place, regardless, is going to have a good points day, so that'll certainly help him heading into Dega as far as the points-wise are concerned. Qualls finishing 3rd. We saw Flickinger right there as well. He was right in that picture. He'll finish in 4th. He was less than a 10th behind the race leader at the line. Jake Rogers brings it home in 5th, so his last 2 finishes at Super Speedways have been pretty doggone good. A win at M&M's and now 5th here today. Ben Braley going to finish in 6th. Playoff contender Jordan Lopez, great run for him in 7th. Eli Bright was 8th. Angel Navarro in 9th. And Yin Canario finishes in the top 10. So 3 playoff drivers finished in the top 10 here today. 2nd, 7th, and 10th place. Joshua Osborne wasn't too far back. He'll finish in the 12th position. So right now, I believe those would be the 4 drivers right at this point that would be in those 4 positions that would battle for the championship. We still got 2 races to go. And where the rest of the remaining 4 drivers finish out this race? Scott Roush was 19th place, Matt McIntire in 25th, Aubrey Eselstein in 28th, and Cody Llamas faded back to finish in 31st in the finishing results. All of our drivers finished on the lead lap, though it looks like several of them lost the draft here during the course of that long run. Parker, Wood, and Christian Merrick Jr. all finishing 15-plus seconds back behind the rest of the field. But regardless, Carson Gum with the win here today. 199 miles per hour average speed here today. And it was about 211, I think, miles per hour for our Tax Slayer Truck Series drivers yesterday. But we've run 2 races, completely green flag, and we've had some exciting finishes so far this weekend. But tomorrow's going to be where it really counts, I think, because it's going to be an elimination race for the Hershey's Cup Series drivers, and we'll have 4 drivers get eliminated from the championship, determining our Elite 8. But focusing on today, Carson Gum with his 2nd win of the season and an amazing photo finish here at Madrid. Congrats to him. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finisher results. These are rookie points, your overall points, and your playoff points. heading into our next race, which will take place in 2 weeks at another super speedway, believe it or not. Talladega Super Speedway next on the agenda for these drivers. Up next, though, we're going to cap off our Madrid race weekend with our elimination race, our second elimination race of the season for the Hershey's Cup Series drivers. We'll whittle it down from 12 to 8 playoff drivers after this weekend is over. And then the following week, it's just Hershey's Cup Series action from Michigan International Raceway. So you'll not want to miss all the action coming up here in the future on this channel. Until then, you've been watching Production NNSCRA, Off-Flame Racing at its best. We'll see you guys tomorrow for our elimination race at Madrid for the Hershey's Cup Series.